Hey guys, it is Teacher here again with another Runecraft update video for you. Today we're looking at Runecraft 2.15, the changes that are going to be in that. And as a quick note, that this build will be available for both 1.4.6 and 1.4.7. They will be available on the Runecraft website, links in the below. So, starting off with the new runes, we have a new curse rune, a new counter curse rune, a change to an old counter curse rune, and a new trap rune. We also have a new variant on the ward, which I will go into detail about later, and these two things here, which are called true names. We have, I will explain about that again later. You can see spheres of floating water, that's part of our Pegasus change, and improvements to that all round. So starting off with the new curse rune, how does this work? Well, this is called the Babel Curse. It is made with one tier block in the center, 4 library books, 4 notebooks, redstone torches around the outside with dust facing in the way. You activate it by right clicking and you get this message: you feel your grip on the language lesson. So here we have, you are affected with 300 charges of the Babel Curse, that's 25 strength, and what that means is that every time I speak, which is what causes this rune, there's a 25% chance that that will come out as gibberish. And there we go, there's a couple of examples of that going there. So, you see I've lost 2 charges of my Babel Curse, at 25% chance of that going on. Now, that means that these will wear off eventually on their own, and for the lower tiers you may just want to endure the slight inconvenience of that. However, if you don't, that's what these counter curse runes are for. Now, this was a tier 4 rune, I believe tier 4, and that means that this counter curse rune will do is required for completely obliterating at tier 4 or higher. But if I wanted to use a lower tier, it wouldn't not work. It would still have an effect. For example, just to quickly demonstrate, that wipes it out completely, gone. So if I were to make a tier 3, 15% strength, only 40 charges, I want to get rid of some of that, but I don't happen to have a tier 3 block, which, you know, that wouldn't happen, but good for demonstration purposes. Tier 2, what is tier 2? I know stone bricks are. That will do. Then redstone around the outside. Remember, for counter curses, the redstone torches are inverted from everything, reverted from their original position, and that's more or less true for the entire rune. The whole thing is designed to be inverted. Now the torches have to be off for a counter curse now, and that is a change. So I've got torches underneath that are powering that block. Oops. I activate it, and a tier 2 would give me 25 charges, so 25 charges have been removed from me. That means 15% strength still remains. That hasn't changed, been affected by the counter curse, but it is only 15 charges now, and you can use that with all sorts of runes. For example, there's me with the Butterfingers Curse at tier 5. That is 40% strength and 1600 charges. And if I want to remove, say, a tier 1, which would be a very silly thing to do, I've removed 5 charges of that, down to 1593. I've already used up 2 charges already. So there's that. Moving on, what do I have here? Here I have an old favourite, the Mousetrap rune. Activating it sets me on fire for a length of time. But over here I have a new rune. Now this rune is called the Lightning Trap, and what it does is that it casts lightning upon the place where the rune is activated from, and in that surrounding area. Now, because it's only tier 1, it doesn't last for very long at all. But you saw there was one strike on the center and a random strike around the outside. If I increase the tier, we will get a considerably increased duration of that. So, fly away and look. Now it's got I think it's a 16 block radius for the random strikes, and every fourth or so will strike in the center as well. Now, as a quick note, whilst a void ward will stop this from being cast on you, also activating it halfway through will interrupt the lightning strikes and cancel the effect. And it doesn't work with the mousetrap. If I am on fire, activating this won't extinguish me. So there's those new runes. Now, over here we have a true name rune. This is a tier 1 version of the rune, and what happens when you activate it is that the rune is consumed, and it drops a player head for the person who activated it, in this case, me. Now, that's exactly the same behaviour for all tiers of the rune, regardless of which it's facing, except up to tier 5. When tier 5 happens, something, the behaviour is slightly different. Just a quick note, the construction for this is a bunch of tier blocks, and it needs fire in the eyes. This is designed to be a skull. Okay, so if you use a tier 5 rune, what happens is this. The tier is consumed, but the skull remains, and by right-clicking on the center block, or automating it, which is why this is useful, you get a silently activating skull dropper. And now you can see I've got plenty. Now, for tier 5, that came with 338 uses. It is possible to recharge that. Say if I place, say it's run out, and you're not getting any more heads from it anymore. I just place a tier 4 or higher block. It won't accept tier 3, I don't think. Right click that, and you've fed more uses into the true namer. It now has 658 uses. And just spam that away. You can use this to effectively gather, build some sort of trap, which I imagine with the Runecraft 1.5 update will be extremely easy. So that's the true name trap. What is this for? Well, I'll show you what it's for. So we've got Josiah on the server, and he's going to be testing with my true name. Now, what the name does is, whilst you're wearing it, the next, and only the next, rune that you successfully cast onto a player, that you successfully use yourself, will go onto that player's head, presuming that they're online. So, if I have a teleporter, and I am wearing Josiah's name, if I use that teleporter, it will affect him. However, if Josiah is wearing my true name and activates the lightning trap over here, it will hit me with lightning. So these things can be quite powerful. Now, we created a new ward, and you saw it over there not long ago, made out of oak stairs this time. And what that does is it ignores true names, i.e. if I'm within that ward and he attempts to cast magic on me, you saw there that the lightning gets sent onto him instead of me. It's not a successful true name casting, so he keeps the true name, but I am still secure, and he gets hit with whatever magic he was trying to use on me. So I'll swap the wards now. I'll turn off the true name ward and enable the void ward, and this will have a slightly different effect. Josiah will cast the mousetrap on me, and because there's no true name ward, it will be a successful cast, but because the void ward is up, the void ward will absorb the fire that was sent at me using the true name. So in this case, it's a successful cast. The true name is dissolved from Josiah, and it just impacts on the void ward. So I have with me Meridiana, who is been on Weaver recently and has been helping me out. I have her true name here, and I'm going to just give a couple more demonstrations of that in action. So step by step, I place her true name on my head, then I activate the teleporter rune. Now see, again, I have foolishly forgotten and left my ward active here. My true name is visible. I right click, boom, and she gets gone. You have used Meridiana's true name, it crumbles the dust around you. It's gone from my head, and there you go. You can't use it whilst you're working with automations. For example, the flight fountain that I have here uses a block sensor to activate a flight rune, but because it's just because of the way it goes through a damage sensor, the true name does not carry through, and it gets stuck on me there. But you can use it just on raw runes like that. Just place build a flight rune quickly. And if I activate that, Meridiana gains the ability to fly. It's a bit difficult to do so whilst indoors, but there you go. She now has flight. Now, I've sent Mary off. She has one of my true names, and she's going back to her place to cast a rune upon me. Now, you see what's happened here. She's cast recall using my true name. I can recall through this type of object. Now, it's not baked potatoes. It's whatever she activated the rune with. Now, she happened to tell me in advance what it was. She said it would be coal, and that would be a recall back to her place. Now, I'd like to make it so it was just this particular one. So, this. And this is a new feature with 2.15. Any renamed item, that is, can work with an engraving. So, it wouldn't work on a normal lump of coal, and it wouldn't work with stacks. But with a single renamed item, I can engrave the rune onto it. And so now, with a limited number of uses, you can see that, 12, I guess they changed that. This tool is enchanted with recall, 12 uses. And here she goes. She has summoned me to her rather cool looking home. As you can see, well, my local server is struggling to keep up a little bit, but you can see that we've got a static sphere of water, and that's because with the exception of things like redstone, flowers, ladders and all of that, these blocks don't generate physics updates when they move. So in this case, it's fully possible to extract a chunk of water out of the ocean without it pouring down below.
It's just kind of fragile.
Exactly, yes, it is indeed. You'll also see that here we have on the island, we have a bunch of note blocks with various different notes. Which I've already said, and a skeleton spawner.
Okay, good.
So if I get some gold ore, and then you'll see that you'll see that water is not pouring everywhere in an ungodly mess. But you'll also see that as soon as it finishes, this spawner becomes a skeleton spawner again, and these note blocks have their note information with them already.
Terrific.
So, Pegasus, and very shortly, FTP will also be able to move those things. So thank you guys for watching. That is all the new features and upgrades that there are going to be in Runecraft 2.15. There is one major thing that is also going to change, which is going to get its own separate video. We are rebalancing all the tiers and all the uses and the powers that the tiers bestow upon the runes that use them. That was Josiah's brainchild, so he'll be talking about that in the next video. You can click in the annotation to go through to that as soon as it's up. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any other questions about this build, or particularly true names I can see will be take a little while to get the hang of, please feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will get back to you. Cheers!